Hello, 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 I'm Tremor, and welcome to the first episode of my YouTube channel. This episode will be an introduction to what will happen on this channel and what we will do here. Since this is my first ever YouTube video, I made some notes here, so please bear with me if I look on the monitor every now and then to see that I don't forget anything I want to say. So let's talk about the channel. The channel will be about programming, computer programming. At the start of the channel, I planned two different series, like playlists for this channel. The first one will be a programming 101 or like programming for beginners. We will learn like what programming is, how like what a program is, how I structure programs, and we will do this in C++ and with Visual Studio 2019 as an IDE. The second series will be about the development of my own game engine, which I have been doing for, well, around about a year now. So I'm deep into the conception phase of the engine. I also like implemented a couple of things, but in the beginning of the channel, I will do more of the like beginner series because it's just easier to me for me to make these videos. But before we start setting up Visual Studio 2019 and writing a really small program, just so we did some programming as well in this episode, I want to tell you a bit about me. I have been programming now for, well, roughly 20 years. 15 years as a professional programmer in the financial sector, and as a hobby when I was a teenager for like 5 years. So in total, it should be around 20 years if I'm not mistaken. I never worked in the game industry, so when it comes to like developing a game engine, I had and still have to look up a lot of things, learn new things. I also bought books and read those, and I will also give you an overview in one of the next episodes about these books, and which I recommend for you to get if you really want to get into like programming with C++, or like also into game engine development or game development in general. What more can I say about me? Well, nothing relevant to this YouTube channel. So I guess we just get right back into setting up Visual Studio. Alrighty, let's continue with installing Visual Studio. I'm going to shrink myself into the bottom right corner of the window, and we will open a browser and type into your favorite search engine VS2019. Click on the official Microsoft link, and there will be a download button, and choose Community 2019. It's the free version of Visual Studio, and it's already way more than we need. But Visual Studio is very easy to set up. We don't have to install any other software. Everything we need to write, compile, and debug C++ programs is already in there. The final download size will probably be around 7 gigabytes, so it's quite a bit. But as I said, it's in my opinion one of the easiest tools for Windows to set up and develop C++ applications. So we can deactivate some stuff here, like the test adapters and live share. We can also remove the CMake tools, and that shrinks the download size by around 1 gigabyte. You can change the path to where it is installed down here, but I'm going to leave it there. And then just click on install, and that will take a while, so we will be back after it's done. So we are back after installing Visual Studio. You should see a window like this one now, and there might be another window before that one where it asks you to sign in with your Microsoft account, and you can do that or you can skip, but eventually you will arrive at this window. So we click on create a new project, we choose console app, This is just a basic Windows application which opens the console and runs the code you implemented. Click on next. We give the project a name. I call it 01_introduction. We can choose a path where it is saved. I prepared that one already. Click on select folder. And for the solution, we give it another name. And I will explain what project and solution means in a second. But for now, just bear with me and give that one a name as well. I call it YouTube_programming 101 and leave that box here unchecked. And then click on create. And after it's done creating the solution, you will see a window which looks pretty much like this. The only thing I did before, I moved the solution explorer from the right to the left. You can dock them, or you can dock it by like hovering over this small button here. And I always shrink it a bit as well. I would suggest activating the show all files view, which will give you exactly what's in the like in the project folder. And then another thing I always do is I go on tools and options and activate the dark color theme because it's much more comfortable in my opinion. So what is a solution and what is a project? First of all, those are like Visual Studio Microsoft terms. This has like nothing to do with C++. So if you go on your file explorer and where you stored the solution, you will see a solution folder which has the name that you gave it in the like installer or in the on the project creation window. And if you open that one, you can see a solution file, which is the file that you open with Windows with Visual Studio. And you can see a VS folder, which are like Visual Studio files in there, so they don't concern us here. And you can see a folder for every project you have in this solution. So if you open this folder for the project, you can see the C++ file that Visual Studio created, and you can also see 3 like Visual Studio files which we don't talk about because they don't concern us. This is just like Visual Studio stuff. And you can also see this in Visual Studio because like in the Solution Explorer, the top level container is the solution, which is like a bracket around all the projects that you are creating or that we will be creating in this series. You can expand and collapse the projects. And what I would do is like the default view here is this one where you see like logical folders pretty much. But this is not what's going on like on the file system, because if you look in the folder on your file system again, you will not see these like those aren't folders, those are so-called filters, which show you all the header files, all the resource files. But I find this really confusing, so what I do is I always activate show all files, which really only shows you the files that are in the project folder. And that's pretty much it when it comes to creating a solution and project in Visual Studio. So let's talk a bit about the C++ file here. The green stuff we can remove since those are only comments on how to debug and run the solution, but I will explain that in the next episode, so we don't need those. And we can also remove the first 3 lines, which leaves us with 6 incredible lines of code for this very, very basic C++ program. I'm just going to like tell you like what it does, which is really simple. The only thing it really does is it prints hello world in the console. So this line here really just does the following. If you click on local Windows debugger with the green with the green triangle in front of it, you will run the program pretty much. So we do that, and you can see that it's doing something. And there we go. Like this is everything the program does. It prints hello world, and the stuff beneath it is like output from Visual Studio, which just tells you, okay, that program ran and exited with the return code of 0, which means everything is fine. And this is just a advice or a hint that if you don't want this console to stay open after the program ended, you can deactivate that under Tools, Options, Debugging. And if you want it to stay open like it is now, you can just press any key and it will close. And that's it. And just to show you that I didn't do any kind of magic, I will change this into Hello YouTube and run it again. And you can see Hello YouTube. And that's pretty much it. So I will move myself back on full screen. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. And in the next episode, we will tackle the first steps on becoming a programmer. I will explain the fundamentals of a C++ program and how it is structured. And we will also write some code to get a more intricate program than this very small Hello World program. So hopefully I see you next time. If you like this, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, see ya.